The first time I ever picked up an Agatha Christie book, I was around 8 years old, and it was The Body in the Library. And I had absolutely no idea when I opened up that book the kind of world that I was opening myself up to. You see, as a child I really loved biology, and in particular things like the study of death and disease or pathology. And I went on to have an entire career in forensic pathology, something that I wrote about in my first book, Postmortems. But not a lot of people know that it was actually Agatha Christie who inspired me to go into this field. You see, Agatha's really well known for her ingenious plots and the volume of her work, amongst other things. But she's not so well known for her forensic accuracy, although it is there, and even her forensic influence. So for example, the phrase, the scene of the crime, that we're all so familiar with and we associate with CSIs, that was coined by Agatha Christie in a 1923 book called The Murder on the Links. It was never actually used before then. This is because Agatha was writing at a time that we call the golden age of detective fiction, but it was also the golden age of medical jurisprudence, or medico-legal science, which is now called forensic science. So in my book, Murder Isn't Easy, what I do is I look at the vintage forensics of the time and the cases that inspired Agatha Christie, and I show that she used them in her works with a tremendous amount of accuracy. So we look at blood spatter analysis, we look at autopsies, toxicology and firearms, and talk about some of the real famous cases of the time that inspired her. Things like Dr. Crippen and the brides in the bath. The history of forensic science is incredibly fascinating, and all of those firsts, all of those cases where the first fingerprint was used or the first document was analysed. Agatha knew all about those cases and she brought them into her work. And she showed the layman that forensic science was there and it was being used by the police. And what I want to do with my book Murder Isn't Easy is to show you exactly that. The forensics is there. Getting away with murder is nowhere near as easy as you would think.